banger of a match. We brought in our local Vegas Eternal casters. It is Jaws.
Wait, these guys, it's not a Vegas thing, I don't think.
I know.
Hold on, you guys. There's someone else.
You're not Vegas. You cast them.
Guys,
you are not
production,
them.
There's been a mistake. No Vegas in this game.
Well, no,
Yeah,
we do
it's
Vegas
weird.
and Valient.
Yeah,
We really like to leave the
two
top tier
V
matches
teams.
for us. Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm with you guys. San Francisco Shock, this is another sweat for them because if the Valiant come out and play this rush style well, the Shock could fumble and it could fall away from them.
Yeah, I think so. Look, at the end of the day, how far can they fall?
Oh no, that's not the question every Shock fan has. And you know, for a lot of the fans, they have that saving grace from yesterday of like, they took a map off the Houston Outlaws. Yeah. They looked a little bit better. London Spitfire also just took a map off of the Houston Outlaws, so I don't.
Everybody's taking maps.
Yeah, everybody
Let's
gets a
go.
map.
Houston always gives everybody one. That's
charitable.
the thing. Very
Yeah.
charitable, very generous. Houston Outlaws. You know, they're making everybody feel good about themselves, regardless of them taking the win. Maybe that was the reason.
And here's the difference between these two teams. The look at the Valiant players. They actually look very comfortable right there.
Yeah.
They have nothing to lose. They're not expected to win this map. While on the other side, the San Francisco Shock, if they lose this match, everything starts to crumble.
You
we
give
start asking
Valient
that
their
question.
first win too.
And this has been a consistent theme for the San Francisco Shock throughout the entire year of how far can they really fall. They've shown some upsides, but for the caliber of team that they have and the franchise as a whole and the quality we expect from them, they have not been living up to that.
It's a slow start, baby. It's okay. Every team has their ups and downs. Shock are getting it out the way early. They're gone down, and now they're gonna rise, Scott, all the way back up. Rank 1.
Starting to sound like social media right now,
Yeah,
Jack.
don't worry.
Every single Shock fan
I'm
who's just
here.
holding on to the 2020 dream is believing in you. But
why not?
well, there's a lot of reasons why. And
Okay, break them down.
Let's talk about them. You know, the Max versus Junbin debate of why are they playing both tanks? We've heard from Junbin himself saying, you know, we want to have diversity from both tanks so teams can't prepare for what we're going to bring out. It's a bold strategy, spreading both of your new rookie players so thin, and that's been a lot of reasons why people have been doubting these people. But the other one is Heesang Proper. What heroes do they play and specialize on this team? Proper and Heesang can both play Tracer, and they've been trading time on that one, and then trading who's playing the Sombra. Is Proper going to play the hit scan? Heesang on the Hanzo. There's a lot of questions that have yet to be answered by the San Francisco Shock of what this roster looks like in the server.
Yeah, it has been a very strange affair seeing both Heesang and Proper trade Tracer, and you can see it now. I mean, Heesang's on Tracer, Proper on the Ashe instead. Very different looks to both teams too. I want to see how Valient are going to be able to get onto this backline. Like, Proper's going to be very hard to dive. He's going to pump out free damage, and Ashe on this point, Scott, take the high ground or high ground this corner. Dynamite's very much free value throwing up to high ground or even just onto the point to stop Crowy getting permacat. Even forces the recall on Nos, so even he can't go in now, and CJ double headshot. No, Swift steps away, doesn't get taken down by Proper. In fact, Proper takes a headshot from the Kiriko as the point is juggled.
And this, I wouldn't be surprised if Proper is playing this Ashe with the expectation that the Valiant don't want to play Sombra. They want to put Seeker onto that Hanzo, play very defensively, so he can just play this Ashe almost for free. And with Crory on the D.Va as well, he can mitigate some of the damage, but they have no answers to taking down Proper. And that's why this first fight has just been jostling for position, looking for a pick.
Yeah, Heesang has got the pulse bomb. There's the pick that you wanted. Proper with an instant headshot, pulse bomb, Liar. Oh man, didn't connect, but it didn't matter. Liar ends up going down to the pulse, and that'll be the first cap going to Shock. And now it's just maybe a couple of staggers? Not quite, no. They don't want to push their advantage too far.
Liar's like, who put that box there that I ran into? And
Yeah,
did
he jumped into it too, so that momentum not working out in his favor.
Yeah, that was just a very slow fight, and a lot of people are going to start to get ultimates up here. The Valiant are dependent on Seeker to get a lot of value with these Hanzo shots, which isn't a bad gamble, considering the Valiant matches we've watched so far this season. But the San Francisco Shock, they have the ability to take the initiative whenever. They have the nano boost on Finn. They can throw that onto Max and jump into this backline whenever they want, but Croy's going to be waiting on the D.Va.
Not taking a lot of damage. Had to retreat there, go back to Liar, get full HP again. Man, it just reminds me of City Center at this point. It's so hard to actually take the point. Nano boost coming out onto Max. Liar still got one in his back pocket, but it is San Francisco Shock once again forcing the issue. Continue rush on the point as they do trade Finn for Nos, but now Max can go in pretty much scot-free. I mean, he's got Primal Rage, and with Heesang picking up a triple kill, this fight is pretty much done and dusted. Point not even flipped. Got another pulse and a big stagger into Crowy. They get the
He's
demon.
gotta get out of
Okay, yeah. Jump off the edge. You might as well. But Proper gets a lot of free ult charge using that coach gun. Krawi didn't matrix that at all. So Proper now has a bomb.
You saw Max, as soon as Kroy got the nano boost and went aggressive, Max's time to shine jumps into the backline.
Heesung.
But now we get to see Heesung Tracer. Oh, nice little bait there on the defense matrix. Takes out 2. Maybe going to get 3 here. Yeah, Heesung doing a great job on this Tracer, and he is a phenomenal Tracer player coming out of contenders, but he's not as good as Proper. So that's why we've seen so much of this back and forth between these two players, because depending on the map, they want a different Tracer player.
Oh, Seeker, yeah, there's no way. Dragon striking away from Max. He has to get it off. I mean, you know you're dead. I guess you maybe go for a Hail Mary there, but I saw no hit markers, no damage went across. Yeah. Valiant's last attempt here to try and capture the point. Overtime is ticking down. Self-destruct at least claims 1, but is a form of AI in the bot. Still has feelings though, and I'm sure they're hurt after that self-destruct.
Oh, no.
CJ on the high ground. Proper does manage to get away from him, but I mean, Scott, this is it almost. They find the flip, in fact. All right, I was about to call it straight up there, but I mean, it's just Max cleaning everybody up. 5%, 6% for the Valiant. That's going to be about it. 99, and the point as soon as Nos goes down. And there we go.
You can see the weaknesses of the Valient composition, and a lot of teams have been playing this, of this Diva Hanzo style, and you're playing slow, looking around the picks, playing defensive. But all these dive teams have just learnt, well, if we just get it, the advantage, take the objective, you have real no way of stepping into us, of taking a fight. And that's what happened. The Valient just were waiting around for something to happen, which never came. And because Shock got that first flip, their percentage is ticking up, which then forces the Valient to make a move which they don't have the composition to do.
Man, that's why Control is a bit of a rough game mode too, because like you said, when you are in that situation where you're the one forced to make a move, okay, do we flank, do we do this? And some indecision in the comms can lead to time just slipping away from them, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. POV, you're a penguin in the spawn room in Antarctic Peninsula. Not getting shot. Do not shoot the penguins. Yeah,
of course, no. Let's keep them all nice and friendly as we see both teams rolling out with the Ramatra composition, something the Valient have looked better at, but Proper is going to be on the Sombra. Composition popularized by the Atlanta Reign with Lip. We've seen Heesang and Proper going back and forth on this Sombra. Let's see how Proper does in this match in particular. You can see the Valiant just sort of waiting with their Sojin, trying to get damage up because that's the advantage that they have.
See how Proper pilots the Sombra. Man, he is not going for an aggressive flank at all, just way more defensive. Just going for manual hacks on the front line. Just building up time on the point.
They have the control of the point. If they get the first flip again, the Valiant all of a sudden have to be the ones to make the move. They do force Proper out though, which is an important step.
It's pretty nice. It means Krawi can be a little bit more free to do what he wants. And in fact, a wall from Nos helps secure the kill onto Max. All right. I mean, this is a big reset for the Shock, I would imagine. Stalling out for a little bit more time. A little bit of extra ult charge there for Heesang, because he does heal himself. Vindime. What is Vindime doing?
That's a great question. A lot of people have been asking that question this year.
Yeah.
You know, Vindime was a great main support player for the Seoul Dynasty last year. Hyped up rookie. Everyone was very excited, but so far this year has been struggling to find value on this team, and a lot of people are asking, why did we lose Violet and his flexibility for Vindime? So he's really trying to prove the doubters wrong as we continue into this season. But now the Valient in control, 20%. CJ has this amplification matrix, and Finn's on the Kiriko, so they have no answer to this one.
Yeah, they do not. They can either rush through it or just kind of kite away. We'll see what the answer is. Yeet. Yeet. That was a yeet. Straight out. Does it catch anybody? Oh, just maybe it would have caught Nos, but yeah, he just pops the block, Scott, so he's fine. Window. Oh, and Seeker with an easy headshot kill onto Heesang. And now Max in trouble. Pops the Nemesis form, and that should just be the fight, Scott. Pretty well played there by Valient. A very strange blizzard, I will say, from Heesang. Threw it at the backline. There was no follow-up. He did put a wall up to try and catch Nos, but would there have even been a kill there?
Oh, May has the ice block. They're one of the most
defensive
heroes that can deal with the blizzard. So that was a strange one there from Heesang, not really using the advantage of their speed boost. EMP goes down by
Hits
Proper.
Two, Seeker and Liar, but a beautiful lamp from CJ is going to come out and save him. Even going to return the favor and throwing a beat either side. And now Max with the Annihilation. It's Max versus Krawi. Here comes the blizzard though, and as Krawi tries to kite away from it, I don't know where that blizzard went.
It hit Heesang, and that's what managed to catch Heesang. Max got on the edge of it, but got out of it at the last second.
What's happening?
But the Los Angeles Valiant just are in complete control. Shock, every single ultimate that they've thrown so far in this round has come up with absolutely nothing. Now you see Desperation, Heesang moves over to the Tracer. They have to play so fast. Max does have the Annihilation, but on the other side,
is that
so
enough to win
Kroy.
Is that enough to win a team fight?
They have to touch the point as well.
Proper gets a manual hack onto CJ. Almost forced out. Annihilations for both Rams. They do get the overtime touch. Max stepping forward behind his shield for the time being, just punching away in Nemesis form. Can pop the Annihilation if he wants to. Same with Crowie now, who can get a reset on it. There's the Annihilation, the speed boost forward. Not even Vin Diesel at the helm could actually get him into the back line though. And the San Francisco Shock are going to just walk away from any meaningful pressure. Crowie also uses Annihilation, so it's now just a stall fest. Just trying to take down one of the Ramantras. A kill finally comes up as Proper takes down Liar, but still Crowie POV, just punching the lights out of Max as Max gets the kill. There we go. Ramantra POV in these comps, Scott, I will say, quite funny.
Corey's literally punching out.
He's trying. Someone.
Nothing die.
He ain't one punch man, that's for sure. About 700 punches finally killed somebody, but it was Shock that eventually capped the point in the end.
Yeah, that Kitsune rush from Finn just really put the nail in the coffin for the Valiant. But they're at 99%, so they have multiple opportunities here to take the point back and close out this round. Seeker does have the overclock, and you can see them routing around to the outside, giving Seeker these long sight lines. The Shock are going to have to navigate around this. As you can see, Heesang playing behind them.
Nice early. Oh, perfect reply though. Seeker already had it. Railgun charged up, and he kills Proper and Vindime. Pops the ultimate. Heesang turned to dust. Triple kill for Seeker as they come back into this fight. That's a quadra kill. Almost picking up the entire team. Seeker with a beautiful overclock, and with Valiant's OT, the Shock are going to be able to come back, maybe with the Proper, but who touches? There's a wall come up from Nox, and that'll be a round for the Valiant.
Who would win? San Francisco Shock, a team of rookie super players that everyone has hyped up so far with some championship quality players, or Seeker with an overclock. Drops a lol in chat as well, just had his way with the Shock. That dive just almost single-handedly deflected by Seeker. Let's watch it again. Let's enjoy this.
Oh my word. Yeah, so he gets EMP'd it, but he already had a rail kind of charged up. Well, actually, it was just Proper going pretty low, and then boom, overclock into the 4K. That is a ambitious pulse bomb too, on a sliding Sojourn. Worth a try, I suppose. You know you need to win that fight.
And this could be an important sort of look for both teams and sort of defining how this series goes. If Valient look a lot more comfortable playing these Ramatra Rush styles, especially on the back of Liar's Great Baptiste, while the San Francisco Shock head and shoulders better in that dive setup, it could become map dependent on who wins up in this compositions. But we're on the third round here of Antarctic Peninsula, and they're playing Ramatra once again.
A little wham on wham, all good. I like what I'm seeing from Seeker right now, especially playing at this angle. Unfortunately, Liar goes down to Vindime of all people, so they just hit the big flank, basically, as I guess the Valiant were hoping they push onto point and then contest Seeker, but they in fact choose the opposite. They run at the backline instead, ignore Seeker completely.
Well, Liar on the Baptiste was playing far back towards their spawn, but Seeker recognized that flank coming and adjusted to the point. So there's a bit of disconnect from their backline and their DPS, and therefore Liar just goes down for free. They switch off of that Baptiste for Liar and CJ on the other flex support as well, and go towards a more traditional rush style with the Lucio.
All right, yeah, Seeker on the Soj. Keep him on it, honestly. Already hit a heater? Yeah, why not? Get a lot of free charge too on the railgun from the shield and from even the Nemesis form block. See, San Francisco Shock have to touch that point to keep it in their possession. Now as Max jumps down, hits the Nemesis form, holds up his hands and says, please don't shoot.
They got to be careful about letting this point flip away from them, the San Francisco Shock, but Proper's coming up to an EMP jack.
Yeah, I mean, Heesang's got that Blizzard so close. There's the healing coming through. EMP hits 4 people, but no one's actually dying, Scott. That's going to be the big problem. It's in fact Max who ends up going down. San Francisco Shock have lost their tank, and now behind a window, the LA Valiant are just going to be able to take over this fight. Proper on the side. I mean, a pitiful amount of damage coming out from their SMG at this point. A lot of stall, though, for the San Francisco Shock, so free time on the board, but that's really about it. Vindime, Heesang, the last members from the Shock to touch. Still, I take that if you're the Shock, turning this almost into a one-fight map now.
It did cost them their EMP and their Blizzard though, Jack. They dropped them and they both got pretty solid value. Actually, I'm not sure about Heesang's Blizzard, but they just couldn't close out the players of the Valiant. Everyone was so low, below 50% health, but CJ drops that amplification matrix, keeps everyone alive, and now the Valiant are in the driver's seat and they've retained their major ultimates. Seeker with the overclock once again, Nos is coming up to a Blizzard, Croy with the Annihilation.
Same kind of setup, just all the way at the back, proper permanently hacking CJ, but overclock in the hands of Seeker has already found a lot of success so far. Sound barrier for Valiant, good play there, as they saw the San Francisco Shock just running at them. Beautiful headshot to Vindime in the skies. And the repelling of the San Francisco Shock continues. Even a rush invested from the Shock, but the EMP is really what set them apart this series so far, Scott. So we'll see what they can do next fight. And we've spoken about this actually in the green room, Scott, with Snowball, base ultimate, the Blizzard. It can get interrupted by EMP. That is a very big possibility.
And that's a great point, right? Proper could just wait for Nos to drop this Blizzard down and then EMP get double value.
Well, there it is.
Maybe not ready.
5% away, and Proper's nowhere near the fight. He didn't receive that sound barrier that San Francisco Shock sent out. Annihilation for both Ramantras. They're trying to kill each other, but it's going to be pretty tough right now. Again, both crossing their arms, holding their hands up, and just hoping the rest of the team does something. Proper on the side, though, pretty low HP, hits the EMP. Nos and Crowley unable to pop defensive cooldowns. They do end up going down, but Seeker again responds. Max with the double kill. It was too much, really, to actually bear. I mean, even with Finn dead, Max was so healthy coming into that fight. 81% now, and if Proper finds this Saga, and he does, that could be big for them now.
Shock did have to use everything, same with the Valiant, so this is going to be a pretty neutral fight for the final one here between these two teams to determine this map. Finn has been caught out twice coming into the fights. He needs to stay alive. He's the primary source of healing for the San Francisco Shock, but Proper's lurking.
CJ almost hacked. Beautiful play there by Liar to stop Proper getting that manual hack down. Overtime ticking through. However, Nos and Crowley are on the point, and Seeker once again off camera finds 3 kills. How is Seeker finding this value right now? The Valiants capping the point, 85%. Seeker claims another 4 members of the San Francisco Shock, as the Valiant might just sink this map in.
Finn taking out CJ at the very end there is important. Liar's going to have to go back, bring him to the lineup, and that means the Valiant aren't going to be able to play aggressively. Finn with this Kitsune rush is so important, but Seeker with the overclock. Once again.
He can rip it any time he likes now as the rush is going to come through from the San Francisco Shock, but look at the railgun damage already. Max forced instantly to go in Nemesis form, put his hands up so he takes little to no damage, and now a window as well to aid Seeker in some of these kills. He's got to be careful, flank from Heesang and Finn, right to his right-hand side, but he's just squaring up right now. Heesang almost took a railgun to the face, a beautiful disruptor shot from slowing him down and stopping him taking care of Seeker. Now he's on the high ground, another kill for Seeker. Finn, the last member alive for the San Francisco Shock, and the LA Valiant are going to take map 1.
Oh, no, 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 no. The Valiant taking map 1. We said that could be a key point of victory for the Valiant. If you can get the advantage early, that could force the Shock to sort of feel dejected. Look at them in their cameras. They're not happy with what's going on right now. And Los Angeles Valiant, they look better in this rush setup. It felt like Shock were always trying to run down the backline of CJ and Seeker, but every time they tried, Seeker shot them down.
Man, LA Valiant's backline looking rather good. It's so interesting looking at how different teams play Sombra. We know Lip is the best in the league right now on that pick, but Proper I just don't feel he has the same impact, especially in the neutral game, and that's what really separates the good from the best. His attempts to hack CJ didn't really work out at all. It was either Liar kind of like poking him down with the Cheerios, or it was CJ just kind of walking away. Like, there was no instant follow-up, which is what you see from a lot of teams, either on the Tracer or even on the Ram using the speed up from the Lucio.
And CJ is just doing a phenomenal job of keeping his entire team alive. They're in dire health time and time again, yet he's managing to juggle the healing and just keep the Valiant alive, stopping these San Francisco Shock dives.
Blizzard World up next. Valiant up a map. The San Francisco Shock need to win right here. They don't want to be the first team to give LA Valiant a win this season. We'll have to see if that is the case after this break. Don't go anywhere. Blizzard World, up next. Shock and the Valient. Yes, it's happening right now. The Valient right now up a map, Scott. It's crazy. Everybody's going bananas behind the scenes right now. We do have a substitution. Jumping in, Max out for the San Francisco Shock. Continuing the musical chairs on who plays what and who plays where. We're going to Blizzard World as the next map now.
Yeah, let me talk about this substitution. I have no idea. We've been trying to decipher this code for the last all of the San Francisco Shock maps dating all the way back to the Prime, and I have no answers for you. I have no analysis. They just seem to flip back and forth all the time. They play all the heroes in the hero list. I wouldn't be surprised to see Junbin come in and play the D.Va, which is something that he wasn't as much known for. This is a map where a lot of teams are playing that D.Va setup. Right now, it looks like he's walking out on the Ramatra, but the Los Angeles Valiant, striking first blood is such an important thing for this team in the series. Bring that confidence in.
I'm assuming Lai's trying to sing a song in chat. Couldn't tell you what it is. I'm not that lyrically inclined, Scott. When it comes to...
No.
No, thanks. Thanks, man. I feel like most of the time, if I hear a song, I'm like, oh yeah, that song. Could I name the artist or the album or even the song name?
Or the lyrics you're even singing.
No, exactly, right? I'm more of a chorus guy. I know the chorus to cool songs, but that's about it.
I agree. That's how everyone is. Nos is going to do the classic, gets walled up, takes a shot, miss as everyone else does, and then go back into spawn and switch to the Tracer.
I mean, it's always worth a try.
Is it?
Yeah, well, you get... Look, listen, if you get a shot and you get a hit, you get free ult charge, you swap, ult charge carries over a little bit now, so yeah. Yes, it's worth it.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
I'll believe you.
5%'s worth, bro. Let me play my Widow for 5 seconds.
So we got the D.Va Hanzo coming here on attack for the Valiant. They're playing the Baptiste Kiriko as well. This is a very poke-heavy, slow offense, and we've seen this work for some teams, but also be incredibly poor. If it feels like you're not able to play aggressively, sometimes you just never get the opportunity to take a team fight. But it doesn't matter. If Croy somehow kills Finn.
Oh, Jumpin taking a couple of storm arrows to the face. Gonna have to get those ones surgically removed by the looks of it. Pops another Nemesis form, but he's dead already. Wow. That dive was quick.
I can't tell you how that happens. I don't know how Finn dies
Instant.
to a D.Va. I assume Nos is there to follow up as well. Maybe he took an arrow, but that just can't happen, is the answer to that. It can't happen. If you're the Shock, there's no way your flex support, your primary healer that plays as a sniper, gets caught first by a D.Va. And the San Francisco Shock lose that first point almost instantly. The Valiant get things moving. 5 minutes remaining to make it through this second point that can be very difficult to assail, Jack.
Yeah, super tough. We'll see if Seeker can kind of open this one up. We see a lot of teams, and this is just Blizzard World 101. Wait for your Hanzo to get a pick. Does he get a pick? No, then you wait. Does he get a pick? Yes, then go. Like, that's literally this map, and it has been for quite a while at this point. Shock have a very different comp, of course. More looking to kind of bait people like Krawi in to get hacked and then finishing off. But we'll see what happens.
And we have Heesang on the Sombra this time and Proper on the Tracer.
I like this much more.
I agree. I think Proper, we know how impactful he can be on this Tracer and how he can just open things up almost solo, while Heesang, doesn't have that same effect, but is also quite a solid Sombra in his own right.
Post bomb from Nos there. I did see a land on Vindheim's shield. Nanoboost on Jumpin. A very easy lamp kill in the corner, but Jumpin is in trouble. Even with that damage resistance from the Nanoboost, he's taking a lot of damage, but I mean, Seeker go kill, Proper go kill this time around. It's just him and Proper just trading backwards and forwards. Self-destruct used, yet to get the remake. But still, Nos and the rest of the gang are kind of hanging around, but with the defended spawn advantage, being able to get to high ground quicker, it's rough for the Valient there unless they get a kill on Jumpin.
Yeah, that was great play. Nano Junbin allow him to just have the sustainability to get into the fight. Valiant and Lyre just unable to sustain that onslaught of attacks, but now Heesang has the EMP. You can see Valient wanting to go into this room, make it as difficult as possible for the Shock to follow up on this EMP.
That's really good EMP, caught Lyre Krawi at the bare minimum there, and that will be it, I would imagine. I mean, Seeker, he can attempt to kill, but he's just staring at the defense matrix. Although, a kill onto Vindheim, of all people, by Krawi, self-destruct gets the remake, and they can still apply pressure to the high ground. Look, you can see Jumpin and Finn on the retreat at this point, Scott, as the payload is continuing to move.
Yeah, and the Valient once again getting so low, but the Shock just not able to clean them up. Now they don't have that EMP, that big team fight ultimate to close things out, and the Valiant are in the spot that they want to be. Lyre has switched over to the Brig to deal with this Tracer.
Proper did not see that one coming. Jump scare through the floor. Even had recall, I believe, there too.
Yeah.
Rally just to try and keep this fight going and keep Proper from getting it again. I mean, maybe he comes back with a pulse bomb, and it looks like he's going to be able to with the help of that rally, but that's a big ultimate now offline for the Shock. Rough stuff. I mean, he's back. Only one ultimate with the pulse bomb and the nano boost available to him. One offensive ultimate, I should say.
And the Valiant are just playing slowly. They have no ultimates of their own. Junbin gets nano trying to go into the backline of the Valiant, but
wow.
They're impenetrable. The backline of the Valient is doing a great job, but Nos is the one who ends up getting
rough.
caught.
Yeah, just outside of the Matrix range there. Krawi couldn't quite save his comrade. Now the Shock, they ideally here, they want to stall this out for as long as possible, get another pick at this point. Have Junbin escort somebody like Proper or Heesang, get another one. And you can see Heesang now setting up. Even Vindheim's kind of around the corner. EMP's pretty big, hits 3. Both supports are going to go invulnerable for a short amount of time after that Suzu, but a nice anti-nade onto Lyre should end his life pretty rapidly. And there's the cleanup.
This right side of the map for attackers is almost a bait, it feels like, because it gives you a defensive place to play, as we see Croy get staggered into oblivion here by the San Francisco Shock. But it's almost like a bait because, yes, it is a defensive setup, but where do you go from there? They're stuck in this narrow choke. The San Francisco Shock has high grounds and can play around you as much as they want. So the Valient, as much as they're able to get into the point, it doesn't feel like they're able to do anything from there. And, you know, living at the whimsy of Seeker on that Hanzo once again.
Well, they don't have EMP at this point, and they have Rally and Rush. Easy way to get high ground there. Just a bit of free damage, that's about it. See Jumpin trying to set up for a duo dive, but didn't end up working out. There's the Rally. Free push onto high ground. Car hasn't moved too far back either, and even Dragon's to create space. I like Proper's positioning right now. He's just on the point. Just kind of harassing, making sure he's not near the rest of his team, hanging around that hacked Mega Health Pack. Heesang gets killed. I wonder if his Translocator did end up getting killed there. Not entirely sure, but a Rush is going to keep this competitive for the Valiant. Even in a 4v5, it's still hard to push people off the point. A couple of nice boops onto Jumpin does send him sky high, and a couple of meters have been gained. A nice stick by Nos. Finn dead. Only Vindime left, but he's still got the Rally, and they've still got ults to keep this one contested.
Proper has a pulse bomb as well. He needs to come up just as clutch.
Here is the self-destruct from Jumpin, trying to get that remake, and Vindime is just swinging away, but no, it's killed Crowy. A self-destruct on the point. He was so low, and even a D-mech onto Jumpin. There's no shot they keep this one alive, but a 4-man EMP from Heesang comes back from the grave and makes it work. The Valiants are going to get held on the second point. That looks so good. So good from Los Angeles there. I mean, even Nos getting that stick, you're like, surely it's over, but Vindime with the Rally, and then Jumpin, he did get demech'd, but he was on the point when that self-destruct went off, so they didn't get C9'd. Good hold from the Shock.
And we've seen teams so many times on this season just unable to get through this second point because even though you kill the Ana, the spawns are so close. They literally respawn and then they peek out the door and they're there back in the fight once again. While the Valiant, the run back is so long. You're walking uphill, fighting uphill. And the Valiant unable to close out the second point, even with 5 minutes on the clock. They have 5 minutes to get through that second point. With that said, though, it's just as difficult for the Shock to do the same thing.
Right, exactly. We'll call it second point pretty much, right? It was 3 meters or something, so
yeah.
That orange box of victory, I suppose it will be, is going to be close to second. You either don't cap second or you cap third. Like that's just how this map is tending towards at this point, at this stage of Overwatch, right? This game's been out for a few years, Scott. Don't know if you knew that.
Just a few
New
years.
game just dropped.
Overwatch 2. Okay, let's move on. So CJ and Laya, they've had the double immortalities with CJ and Laya. And that's been so difficult for the San Francisco Shock to be able to enter into. It feels like they haven't been able to punish the backline, sort of hit these EMPs, close things out, which that is fine when the Valiant are the ones having to step into you, but now the Shock are the ones who have to step up themselves. Probably could have taken that shot.
Oh my, yeah. If he hit that, top 10 shots of all time from Spawn. That is for sure. All right, no widow. Proper back on the Tracer, he's on Sombra. Okay, same old here. Same with the Valiant.
We can see them just trying to take this route around the right side. And you can see the Valiant don't want to give this up for free. Nos is marking over this Mega. They're happy to let them in, but they don't want to allow them to have that choke. Give Heesang and Proper that flank angle.
They don't want to get it hacked either. Look at Heesang's positioning right now. He's kind of juggling with Nos. Oh, he's not going to go for the hack, in fact. He's just kind of chilling right now. Hack on Crowy on the cards. There it is. Anti-nade instantly thrown on, but a defensive land from Lai is going to keep the D.Va in the mech. Seeker's doing a lot of free damage right now, just looking down at the rest of the San Francisco Shock.
Ooh.
Finn on high ground, just dicing with death. I mean, I would not do that against Seeker, but Vindime?
Why is he there? There's no reason for Vindime to be on that side of the point.
Looked like he bashed too.
That's going to force a reset here by the San Francisco Shock. All the space and positioning that it took them a minute and 20 seconds to get,
you get the D-mech.
Instantly unraveled. If they can get this Jumbin D-mech, it would be huge, and they get it.
Oh man, yeah, that's bad for the Shock now. I mean, Jumbin at this point just like
has to jump off. Yeah.
Has to jump off, get the reset, get it going. Half the time back on.
And that's huge for the Valient. And that's, you can see the Shock are just unable to go anywhere right now. The Valient playing this very well, understanding what the win condition of their composition is. As much as it might not be the perfect meta composition, it works for them. And it feels like they know exactly how the Shock are going to try and break it and are adapting well.
All right, they do have to be scared of the EMP. 30% away. That will crack this sucker
Nos
open.
hacked and being chased right now in the backline, hounded at his own spawn.
Wow, this is a very deep chase. Okay, he's finally made it out alive. I'm wondering why Heesang doesn't hack that mega health back. I mean, it might not matter, but it would be nice to kind of take that away. But it's all good. Nano boost for Finn. Yes, they have changed sides on the map. That is correct, what you're seeing on your screen right now. Jump in nanoed once more. Can't find the backline though. Instant peel from CJ and Laya once again. But Krawi is in trouble. Even a Matrix, a Dragon Strike, everything thrown in there to try and save Krawi, but it was too little too late. Problem with the Pulse Bomb in hand is the San Francisco Shock are trying to juggle the point. Heesang's EMP found little of anything there, Scott, as Vindime dies again.
Yeah, Vindime going down is such an important thing. They do get the pick onto Laya, but that's such an important pick by Seeker.
Big stick going away side there by Proper. That would have been perfect onto Seeker, taking down the main damage dealer of the LA Valiant. But with only a minute to go, Proper's on Genji of all things now. I mean, Vindime's got the rally. He cannot die in this fight, Scott.
Yeah, he cannot die. He's been getting picked first time and time again, and that's why he has the rally only just now, but that's so important for them. Needs to keep an eye on Nos with this Pulse Bomb.
Okay, rally up. Pulse Bomb for Nos, also getting online in 5%. And look at this, perfect pipe back from the LA Valiant.
Yeah.
They know they can give a tick here. They know they can go again. Nos is going to be able to juggle the point, and Vindime's dead. Seeker with a perfect headshot, even a Sonic Arrow of all things. Now Finn, all on his lonesome, is getting dove. A perfect dive, executed flawlessly by Nos and Krawi, but the rest of their team kind of cut to smithereens as Proper on the Genji is putting in mean work with just a vanilla nano. No blade required for Proper. A self-destruct from Krawi to scatter the shock for the time being as Vindime tries to rejoin the fight on the Lucio.
Yeah, Proper doing proper things once again, keeping the shock in this team fight.
Nos surely dead. Oh, he's not going to recall, but no, Lies go back on the Lucio. Stay alive for maybe 20% longer, and CJ will get the rush, but it's not going to happen. 2.5 minutes to go for the shock. Still a dicey situation, Scott.
Did you see Proper's face there? He is mad. He is playing mad. He will not lose to the Los Angeles Valiant. The resources go into him. He gets the nano, and that's just enough for them to close out that fight. But Shock are not playing clean right now. They're not getting value out of their ultimates. They're not able to stay alive, and now they have to climb that mountain of this second point. So you can see the Valiant already taking the high ground.
Blade available, EMP charged, ready to go. Up on the high ground, and look at that. Clear open skies too for Heesang to land a big EMP. Even just a manual hack here on Seeker. Oh, goes for the 180. EMP lands. Seeker just gets annihilated. And there's Proper with the cleanup. No blade required for the San Francisco Shock as they take control of the point. A quick and clean team wipe here is what Valiant really needs, Scott.
Yeah,
smart. Proper. Is that 4 kills? Almost 5. Wow.
Smart to die on the point there. Slow down the cart progress, because this back half of the second point is where it really gets difficult. Nice for the Shock that they were able to win that with just an EMP. So now Proper has the blade, and there's no sound barrier and no Baptiste for the Valiant to deal with that.
One
Proper
small
could
Suzu.
go crazy.
Nice hack onto CJ. Forces Suzu himself. Kitsune Rush on the point. His last breath used to use that ultimate to try and find a stabilization kill. Seeker almost goes down to the bomb. Dodged it real life there as well. Laya kills Jumbin, but remember the spawns are so close to the Valiant right now, but Proper's still got that blade. A nano boost available too. Blade pulled, Seeker in his sights, the support. There's no chance for you now, LA Valiant. Proper's got a blade and he's getting the kills. CJ, you can't even touch. No supports available, and the San Francisco Shock will tie the series.
That's just a Proper diff. Just Proper diff, I think. He came in clutch. Yes, the Shock were giving him the resources. They were playing around him, but Proper brilliance is the thing that ends up dismantling this Los Angeles Valiant setup. CJ and Laya, they were so resolute, so resistant to so many of these dives until Proper goes over to that Genji. We questioned it when he made that swap, but you can understand why. Once the team gets low enough, once he can start getting those dash resets, there's no way to stop him.
Oh my. A lot of these fights early on for the Valiant were all about Seeker killing Vindime or Nos killing Vindime, but Vindime soon switches over to Lucio, a little less vulnerable. Felt a bit better about himself, I'm sure. Like, going down that early as a support is disaster. Just the pulse bomb leap back. Whew. Beautiful stuff from Seeker there. They do tie it up, but a very close game once again. And like you said, it was Proper's brilliance. The Nano Blade in this situation, rather strong as everybody's trying to touch the point still.
Yeah, that's it. And the San Francisco Shock equalized. They needed to, and they do. And this is going to be a long series here for the Shock. We're heading over to Junkertown, which is a very different map, not very much favored, which isn't good for the Los Angeles Valiant, but let's see what tank Shock put in. Let's see what DPS the San Francisco Shock put in.
Yeah, I want to know the tank. Like, is it going to be Max or is it going to be Junbin? It's a coin flip at this point. We'll have to wait and see after this break. Don't go anywhere. Junkertown up next. I was going to call it JQ, but not quite. Finzana there looking rather scared, but you shouldn't be because Proper had Nano and a Blade. Yeah, he looked a bit angry actually in the player cam, Scott, after that 4K. He was, I feel like, kind of annoyed that they're losing these very early fights on Blizzard World, and then he was like, you know what, I'm going Genji, I got this, 4K, boom, hits the Dragon Blade and takes the win for the San Francisco Shock. Proper go kill. Is a reason why it's a phrase.
It's a valid strategy for the San Francisco Shock. It feels like it's been going on for a really long time, and I know there are haters, I know there are doubters of the Propers, but he's so good. Just look at what he did. He turned that map around for them, and he's going to need to keep going Super Saiyan to keep the San Francisco Shock in the series, while the Valient trying to hold on for a very important person, Jack. Did you know it's Tay-Zonday's birthday today?
No shot.
It's Tay-Zonday's birthday today, and the Valient, if you're listening, this needs to be the moment. Don't do it for yourselves. Don't do it for your first match win. I don't care about that. Do it for Tay. He's been with you guys forever.
That's true. Happy birthday, Tay. Hope you have a good day, and hope all your wishes come true. Even, you know, Valient may be taken away, and like, you know, they want a piece, and even Blizzard World did look close. Now, Valient have chosen to attack, so Shock's defense maybe still mad. No Tracer to be seen. Little Genji.
I actually really like this adaptation by Proper. The Tracer versus the Baptiste, the Brig, and the Kiriko doesn't win that matchup very well because it's such ticky-tacky damage and it's slow, consistent damage that it's easily mitigatable in a lot of ways. While the Genji, you can just execute people. And that's what you get for the dash resets, and that's what he did last time. So he saw the success there, saw CJ wanted to play the Baptiste, so he's going to stick with it.
New phrase just dropped. Ticky-tacky damage.
You've never heard ticky-tacky damage?
No.
I've said that since I was a player because it's just little ticky-tacky damage.
Little
that doesn't
tic-tac,
do anything.
like actual, yeah, I know, I feel it. New phrase just dropped, there you go. Take that one to the races.
So we're going to see the Ramatri here from the Valiant, wanting to play Corey around that one, and they're actually going to put Nos on this Sombra as well. A very different look to some of the things we've seen from them so far.
It will put a thorn in the side of Proper, or a hack if you will, although, speaking of which, that nade from Finn was juicy. Even Crowie's taken a lot of damage too. You've got to at least get one. Vindime overextending once again, but I mean, Proper's still behind them. Yeah, Seeker, he's not in front of you, buddy. He's right behind you. And the Shock are going to hold for the time being. Finn has the Nano already. I'm curious if Proper, I feel like it's just going to be like, save Nano for me. We have EMP coming up, and then we kind of stagger these ults out.
I wonder if you make a swap here if you're the Valiant. They're trying to play to their strengths, but I feel like this Genji, and especially Proper Genji at that, is going to just tear them apart. I feel like they don't have the answers to deal with this one very effectively. Maybe Nos can just keep hacking him and hope for the best, but they're going to have the nanos. They're not able to force a fight against this backline of Finn. Like, here comes the hack. They hack Finn, but who else on the team for the Valiant is going to follow that up?
I mean, looked like Crowie tried to or something. Crowie's dead. Yeah, no one to follow that one up. You're hoping Finn has a misplay there, or even Vindime's just not somewhere in the area to heal him.
And Vindime goes over to the Lucio, potentially just a comfort swap here by Vindime. He's been heavily struggling on the Brig so far in this series, just getting isolated, ending up in the wrong position. He's just going to use his mobility and his skills on Lucio to stay alive, which I don't hate. I think it can be a good idea, but this EMP.
Oh, did he cancel the Dragons? It might have just cancelled Dragons, not sure. Looked like it though. Nano boost onto Proper. No blade pull just yet. Might not even need it to be fair. Looks CJ directly in the eyes, but knows the Valiants, their front line is dead. Only their back line remain.
Nos used his EMP there as well, so both DPS ultimates come out here from the Valiant. Seeker swaps over to the Tracer, a hero he's not known for as much. Nos over to the Genji. I like the swaps. I think you need to change things up. What you're doing right now isn't working. You're walking into a trap every time that you walk past this choke into the Shock.
Real Dave versus Goliath moment here for Nos. Going up against Proper's Genji. Oh, nice stun. Proper 40 HP. How is he so far in the sky? Worked in his favor though. It's all good. Proper pulls the blade, gets slammed again though, and now you're fighting into annihilation. That ticking damage that you can't avoid, it forces him all the way back. Actually has to rely on the safe embrace of Vindime there to get him back to near full HP to get back to the rest of his team. The Valiant, they do use annihilation, stop Proper getting too much value from the blade, and they are getting cart progress, Scott.
Yeah. The Valiant do manage to stay alive through all that one, mainly off of the annihilation from Croy, but now they're in control. CJ and Lai are going to be able to play far away, as you see Heesang trying to get behind them to apply some pressure.
Self-destruct available for Shock. Window for CJ and the Valiant. There it is. A whole heap of damage. Heesang just trying to play a distraction game right now as the self-destruct used to remech. No kill, but Proper comes up with one. Rather big one at that. No dive partner for Seeker now, so he has to play a little bit more carefully. He's got a pulse bomb soon, but this damage coming out from Finn on the high ground, just sniping CJ. Doesn't have to worry about the rest of his team. A pulse bomb from Seeker does land on his mark, but Proper's still here, and he's got a reset dash. EMP is going to be good for it. Nos gets back from spawn just in time to see the payload tick down. Overtime is through, and not a single point there for Valient.
And only 3 final blows for the Valient on that attack. This is the danger when you play to your strengths, when you don't play or conform to the meta all the time. Sometimes you just get caught with your pants down. All of a sudden, your composition doesn't work against what the San Francisco Shock are willing to play. Shock have the flexibility, and they've shown that, and they put it to good use on that defense. And now Valient have a tough task to keep the Shock to the first point as well.
Yep, tough task. Oh dear. It's basically, again, the first point being capped. I think Proper's just going to run Genji again. At this point, it's like, okay, we're doing well, like, let's not change anything. Look, Vindime, go on Lucio. Like, you did get picked a ton, and especially on a map that is so conducive to snipers. If you expect Seeker's going to run out with it, just play Lucio, and then we can just run him down. I mean, Proper's doing what he does best in killing people. It's really up to the Valiant here to kind of press the issue. I mean, Crow and Jumpin are kind of trading, but it's funny, because in these comps, it's not even really about them until they get their ultimates. Like, Jumpin's just there to kind of juggle. You're waiting for a DPS to get a hack, then a pick, or get your Tracer in a position where they can kill somebody. And it's rough for the Valient here. They may be looking at taking 2 fights, holding the spawn doors, but that's all they can really ask for.
Junbin's currently rolling around on the Wrecking Ball, and I wouldn't hate it.
You can roll through those doors, push some people out,
yeah,
kind of thing.
But I think they're going to see, they're going to see the Valiant rolling out in this setup, which is dangerous to do against the Genji. Junbin's going to go over to the Winston.
Okay.
I like this switch. You can zap them, you can play above them, as you can see here, force Seeker off. So the Valiant are trying to just contest the point from this room and play defensively in here.
Yeah. But look how defended Jumpin is. Like you said, just leaps the high ground and get away from all of that damage, because no one can really follow him. Unless they wall themselves out there, which would be crazy.
They got to be careful of these Finn biotic grenades. If that one lands in there, does a lot of damage. You actually saw that CJ drop the lamp, but they're so low.
I don't think he has the shift, that regenerative burst not coming through. He's hoping for that one in just a moment. Nice kill onto Proper. A huge anti-nade by Finn. I mean, you called it perfectly, Scott. You got to worry for them, but there's so many doors you can throw those nades through. It's a tough hold at best, but maybe they get 2 fights here.
Yeah, CJ going down, that spells the end of it, so they're just dying on the point. Don't want to give that cart progress. But as you said, Jack,
I mean, they got EMP.
You get multiple fights if you are able to hold that close. We've seen this from the London Spitfire recently as well. They might potentially rush out of this window, try and take this mega health pack that you can see in that room in the bottom right, and then do the same thing. Contest the cart. Yeah, there you go. They step in. They're once again contesting the cart from the room. But an EMP.
EMP hits for... I mean, that is just a slaughter. The Valiant, I mean, they had to have known, they should have known. Hisang has EMP there, but you have to go for that hold.
You still do.
You go for the hold, and now you get a third fight. A third fight on first on Junkertown, it's unheard of. But they got an EMP of their own.
And, you know, that's 2 minutes off the clock. If they do manage to win this fight, all of a sudden it can get harder for the Shock. But they have 4 other ultimates up. Nanoblade, Proper's been so strong with them so far.
Has indeed been sitting all the way in the scenery here, waiting for Proper to earn the blade so he can just send him in and he can kill things. Window for CJ, used very early. Oh, Proper interrupts the EMP! Oh no, no EMP. They still got a Blizzard, but that might just be it. There's the sound barrier and Proper still holding onto blade. Finn's got the nano boost. This is disaster in the making, and there is Proper, and the kills just keep on racking up. The San Francisco Shock are going to crack the defense. A beautiful follow-up to that cancellation of the EMP, and you can see Scott. I mean,
Proper is elated.
Yeah, he looks very happy right now in the player cams. It looks like he just wants the series over.
It does. And he's making sure it does end very, very quickly right now.
That is what's happening.
Yeah, he is just in full control of this series. Valient have no answers to what's going on there. I like the idea behind that triple defense, you know, point A, but it just didn't feel like Valient ever took an equal fight. They were just walking into the loving embrace of the Shock every single time. And they go into sort of this break here thinking, how do we deal with this Proper Genji? Because one of the major answers of dealing with it is to play that Winston, Brig, Ana style, and then the Winston can just zap down the Genji. It makes it very difficult to move around the map, but that's just not how Valient like to play the game. So how do you adjust here if you're the Valient? Do you play something uncomfortable but will work better against what the Shock are doing? Or do you just stick with what you're good at and hope it starts working?
Man, I'm sure we'll get a replay of the cancellation of the EMP, but that was another big tool they could use to shut down Proper, and then Krabby can just kind of boop, boop, punch him, and he'd have died pretty quick. So the San Francisco Shock, they do end up taking this third map, 2-1 in the series thus far. I mean, Valient, they took control pretty handily too, felt pretty good. San Francisco Shock looking to end this one though. You can see the look on their faces. They want to get out of here ASAP. Maybe lunch to go to, not sure. We're going to go to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Shock, your 2020 Overwatch League champions!
San Francisco Shock,
Proper is a generational talent. He's going to be in this league for a long time.
Look at this guy! He's running down Bernard! And he just charges the Sigma!
Completely uncontested, tearing through.
Coming on!
Gendo tried his best, but it's not going to be enough. Finn is feeling himself. Look at him.
Chapman only affects him. Rampage going to catch on a 2 from Kellerman. Proper is there! Oh my!
Yes, he's just that good. I mean, Proper's really been sticking it to the LA Valiant over the last couple of maps. As soon as he locked that Genji, man, as soon as he locked that Genji, the kills started racking up.
Why, when I play ranked and someone tilt swaps Genji, it never works as successfully as this? Maybe I should just duo with Proper more and my problems will be solved.
Ah, yes, duoing with Proper.
I'll reach
something
out.
you're known
I'll reach
for.
out.
Yeah, I'll reach out. He's sliding in the DMs, bro. I think he's going to leave you on red.
Look at this stat card. 17 eliminations, 9 final blows, 1 death. Honestly, he's just running around and even flying around through the air for free.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever he needs to do. Honestly, I do want to give some credit to the Shock. They are playing well around that. I think Hisang Sombra looks a lot more tempered than Proper, and that enables Proper to have more space. They're forcing the ultimates out of the Valient and enabling Proper to be that difference maker. And when push comes to shove, Proper is him.
Proper really do be him. Haters silenced after that map. Cancelled Seeker's EMP just a moment before this clip, and they just had way too many ults. I mean, it was a tough hold for Valient, to be fair. It's a very awkward style of play when you're holding very close to the spawn room and then you hold in that small room. Yeah. You're like so rushed to do every single hold that sometimes your positioning can just get picked apart if you're ever so slightly misstepping.
You're just not taking an effective fight, as you said, Jack.
Yeah.
But we're moving on to Esperanza, which is, for all intents and purposes, a dive map. We've seen a lot of people playing the Winston, playing fast. Every time someone really tries to play these slow, Ashe, high ground compositions, it feels like they just get out-tempoed eventually. As soon as you lose that control, it's almost impossible to pull it back. So what are the Valient adaptations during the break?
Yeah, I'm curious. I wouldn't to see them still run this Brawl comp with the Ram makes the most sense for the team. You can really have Seeker on anything. I'm curious if Seeker's going to go back to the Sojourn, or he's going to stick on something like a Hanzo or Tracer. He can play all three to a very, very high level, but Nos is the big question for me. How's he going to play around this? Because we saw him quickly swap over to Genji in Junkertown, but it seems like sticking him on something like a Tracer and then Seeker on this hard-hitting hit scan where he can just pick people off. Seems like the port of call. Looks like Nos is hovering Genji, but we've got 5 seconds till the door's open. And in fact, it's going to be Krawi on the JQ instead. Let's go map 5.
Junbin says, let's go. Seeker says, let's go map 5. And Junbin's like, wait, no.
Wait, hang on a second. No, that's not what I meant.
That's not what I wanted to go. But we can see Seeker sticking to the Sojourn. I like this. Don't play Sombra, but that's not Seeker's wheelhouse. That's not where they find their strength. Right. Shock is playing the Ramatra. Valiant almost anticipating, I would assume, Junbin to be on the Winston, but he's on the Ramatra. I think the Queen is going to struggle to stand up to this.
Yeah, it's pretty tough when you don't have this kind of shield in front of you, plus the sustainability of Junbin too is crazy, especially with Finn in the back line. Valient do have to go fast, and they do so. They use that shout to get a little bit of positioning. There's Proper setting himself to the skies there, but there you go. There's what you don't want to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, you are diving the backline, yes, but Junbin is just going to turn around, hit Nemesis form, and just start blasting.
And Lucio Brig is just doesn't have that much sustainability throughout a long team fight. It's what we saw during the Jokes meta back last year, where teams just played as this 5-person death ball, and the Lucio Brig AoE healing, you just move as a unit, but that's not going to work against this Ramatra style of the Shock. Junbin's just going to never go down just punching you. And I'm actually surprised. Yeah, Valiant are switching. Crory over to the Ramatra of his own, CJ onto the Kiriko. They looked better in map 1 playing 1 versus 1, so I like this switch from them.
All right, good stuff. Wow, what a shot by CJ. Wow, Hisang was not expecting a random kunai to fly out and dome him. Pretty easy fight now, you would imagine. Here's a 4v5, but still, the ults are charging for the Shock. They're closing in on the Nanoblade and the EMP as they won the first fight and were able to gain a lot more ultimates. Plus, with the swaps that Valient made, they are ever so slightly behind, especially in terms of the tank ults, that's for sure. Now Finn can just hold high ground. This is going to be incredibly tough to actually assail for this comp now.
Yeah, he's so free just sitting up here. Vindime is just acting as a bodyguard to Finn on the Ana. And you can see the Valient.
Oh, nice boop though.
That's a great play.
Yeah, now it looks like Junbin tried to save him there. There's the nano as Finn ends up going down, but it is onto Proper, of course. Liar trying to kite, and he does so unsuccessfully, running into the Annihilation. That was a good attempted dive and a nice boop by Liar, stopping Finn from sitting free on the high ground, but he got that nano off just in time.
Yeah, the Shock having to use 3 ultimates to hold that, so that was an expensive fight for the Shock to win, and Win or loss, I'm going to be honest, Jack. The Valient backline has played incredibly.
Sure.
CJ and Laya have done a great job of deflecting the aggression and sort of making plays, which can be difficult for some support players, and some players just don't go for that. That will be the first checkpoint for the San Francisco Shock, though, and that's just a compounding of that first fight that went so terribly for them, starting on the wrong composition.
That's rough.
But this isn't the hardest point to catch back up to out of all the push maps. I think Esperanza, the first capture, matters the least out of all the push maps.
What is that? Okay, I will say Laya and Seeker got a little bit scammed there by Heesang hiding behind a cash draw. Don't know how that worked out. EMP available right into Heesang's arms by the looks of it. However, Kitsune, Rush, and a Blade are available for Valient now, but Nos get hacked and anti-naded by Finn. Okay, Finn now on the flank, helping Heesang out so he doesn't instantly fall over, but now Seeker's got the railgun. My God, how he comes up with these skills, Scott, is beyond me.
I'm not a huge fan of Sojin these days because I just don't think the damage consistency is there. That one-shot potential isn't as here. With that said, just like now, when Seeker plays it, I love it. Honestly, it's his best hero. He's so strong. He just gets pick after pick. Just play him on Sojin all the time.
By far. I would say it's probably his best hero right now, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
EMP available for Heesang. They haven't got nano for this blade, but an EMP might just do it. He does chunk off a little bit of HP, of course. Wow, Nos caught lacking in the air. There's the overclock from Seeker, trying to turn this tide. As the Annihilation even invested by the LA Valiant. Is Crowley able to catch up to anybody? No, he's not. Instantly slept by Finn, and the Annihilation just falls away. Sound barrier for Laya doesn't save CJ, only hits 3, but Seeker's still pumping out damage. Proper dead as the Valiant still trying to move forward with only a single healer. They are going to get chunked down. That tic-tac damage, Scott, really making its mark now. I mean, there's no hope really with only the Lucio on the field.
Yeah, just Valient, no value from the overclock, double down. They drop the Annihilation, no value from the Annihilation, try and triple down with the sound barrier. And Laya drops it just a little bit too late. CJ goes down, and that's a dangerous fight for the Valient. Now with Junbin on the Winston, Croy goes back to the Junker Queen.
All right, okay, so now with little musical chairs at this point. Proper still has Blade, by the way. He's had it for a long time, enough for Finn to build up another nano, so almost perfect corridor, and he's just kind of chilling with Finn on high ground. Nay does land, hits 2. They should be okay, though. Feel like they're a little bit too far away for it to mean anything, so they do be vibing.
Yeah, and the Blade is just so difficult to get value from with so many defensives and ultimates and stuff like that.
Scott. Going for a flank. That Blade's pretty big, though. The anti's even bigger. Finn hits a 3-man as Proper pulls the Blade, but no! Nos is actually the one that comes out on top. He pulls just the vanilla Blade out onto Proper. Nano invested, and the LA Valiant come out on top. Finn landed a fat anti and then instantly Proper pulls the Nano Blade, but it didn't matter. The LA Valiant kiting that one around the San Francisco Shock. Beautifully done.
Proper saw a ghost for a bit there, and then he got lost, and then he got confused, and then he didn't get any value from the Blade, and that cost the Shock dearly. They do have the sound barrier, and they're going to engage with that one.
I like that a lot. There's going to be a Suzu as well as that shout to sustain people through this fight, and I mean, that's just about it. A Kitsune Rush invested. That's a really nice fight for the Valiant to win, Scott. They are so close to this checkpoint, and only one ult used. They've got the Rush coming up. They're going towards another choke point, and the San Francisco Shock, they got Primal, they got EMP, but can Heesang actually find any value with it?
Also, Croy has the Rampage, and they don't have a Kiriko for the Shock, and they don't have a sound barrier. Usually two of the best answers to that ultimate. So when that Rampage goes down, anyone who's hit by it is going to bleed.
It looks like Shocker, yeah, so they're taking different routes here so they don't instantly all go down to the Rampage. Carnage goes in, no, but it actually swing and a miss as Finn gets to sleep. And then Heesang gets 2 kills with the help of the rest of his team. Good kiting, this time from the Shock. Getting away from Crowy was what they needed to do. They couldn't let that Rampage go off, so they all took different attack routes.
That was a important fight for the Valiant to lose. They didn't even get ultimates out. Heesang didn't have to use that EMP. So now they just sort of have to be the re-engagers walking into this EMP. It's going to be so difficult. Laya is getting close to that sound barrier. He needs this to have that sustainability versus this EMP.
I mean, your boy's got overclock. Seeker with 4% away from the ult. EMP in this choke point. He's just kind of chill. He's waiting for it. waiting for the rest of the cooldowns to come off. And now just looking, hopefully he can catch CJ so he doesn't instantly Suzu. Spots the Kiriko. She's already teleported as Nos gets manually hacked. And you can see the rest of the LA Valient doing the exact same thing as they did before, rushing the high ground with the shout.
Oh, that Rampage goes out and hits air.
Nobody? But it doesn't. It might not matter, Scott. It looks like it's maybe split the shock as Jumpin ends up falling to the kunais of CJ. Still holding on to this railgun is Seeker. And here comes the EMP. A 4-man hack, but CJ comes up with another clutch kill. The high ground still in control of the shock, though, as CJ and Crowy, they're not going to be able to find more miracle picks as the blade is available soon, as well as that Nano. Finn in trouble, and Nano on to Proper. Blade in 1%. Does he even really need to pull it? I don't think so, Scott. He's just going in, just a vanilla Genji, just with that Nano. Crowy does come up with a kill, an extremely scrappy fight, in fact, as it continues.
Yeah, he's just managed to live after hitting that Carnage, instantly gets that healing back.
I mean, look at
from
the time,
wound overclock, and Croy manages to hold on just barely. Liar's sound barrier came at the perfect time. And now, once again, this is probably the most important fight for the Valient to take. They have the tools, they have the weapons, but Vindheim has the answer.
It's Blade versus Blade, Proper versus Nos, but Seeker could shift it in their favor with that overclock. There's the Blade from Proper. He gets Suzu, so he gets booped away, but no, perfectly lands on Seeker and Nos's head. Hunts them down with precision. The San Francisco Shock now with 5 members up. Just have to wipe the Valient, and with a minute to go, it is looking like a Shock 3-1. They had the tools, Scott, but they didn't rip any of them. They only used the Blade.
They just aren't proactive enough. You can see the Sanford. I don't love this idea at all. Yeah, Vindheim, please take this further forward. There's still 45 seconds remaining. There's no reason to not push the bot further forward. As you said, Jack, the Valient, they don't have many options, but Seeker doesn't need many options. He has the overclock. Can he do it once again?
Shout to save Liar there. He was going pretty low after he got anti. Now an overclock available for Seeker as they do rush onto the point.
Great disengage.
Oh, now he's lining him up to knock him down, but it's actually Liar that takes a quick nap. There's Vindheim in the sky. Seeker finds one, has to dodge away from Proper, who's reflecting, but he's still doing damage, and that's what they need. They need to chunk people out so Crowy and Liar and CJ can rush forward and finish off these kills. Overtime approaching now.
Yeah, the Valient, they're trying to find more value.
They gotta get picks.
Ooh, dangerous by Seeker, shooting the deflector Proper.
Finn on the high ground, on the flank, and with the Nano. I mean, there's Nos here. They do actually Nano jump in instead of Proper this time around. I know, crazy to think about. Sound barrier from the Shock, and that should just be it. There's just way too many ults for Valient to bear, and that will be the San Francisco Shock taking the 3-1.
Yeah. The San Francisco Shock, just as you said, Jack, too many ultimates to deal with. They had the Rampage at the very end there by Croy, just gets EMP'd at the last second. The Valient, honestly, putting up a strong fight throughout this series. They went toe-to-toe with the San Francisco Shock. They are showing that improvement, but once again, it's just not enough for them to get that first match win.
Oh, that was so close. It was just the overwhelming advantage of the ultimate bank at the end. Like, that was just it. More Qs equal more Ws. That's just how that ended up working out. There was a lot of times there. I mean, you're looking at people like Seeker to pop the overclock in response to Proper's Blade. Nos ended up kind of trading it out, but it's just these small advantages that Shock were able to eke out at the very end. The Valient unable to come up with their first win, but they are looking good. They are improving. And Seeker's still kind of blowing my mind what he can do on the Sojourn.
Yeah, but the narrative is going to continue out of this match, Jack. San Francisco Shock aren't looking like a top-tier contender right now.
Super clean.
Their coordination just falling apart at times, relying too much on individual brilliance from individual players. The backline still making some questionable decision-making, getting picked too early. The Shock need to start showing us something, because at this rate, they might not even end up at the mid-season madness.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. I mean, the San Francisco Shock of all teams. And the turning point in that whole series was Proper just switching over to Genji.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we'll go in, we'll play Tracer. They ended up losing that first map on Control to the Valient. And then Proper, halfway through map 2 on Blizzard World, was like, I'm going to go Genji, you're going to pocket me, I'm going to get Nano, and then I'm just going to carry the game. And that's exactly what he did. But Can they just continue to rely on that? I'm not sure. The player of the match, though, for this series is going to be Proper.
Has to be Proper. He literally is individually turned this series around on that Genji, just going absolutely ham, just slicing and dicing the Los Angeles Valient. And while we watch these highlights, Jack, I have to ask you the question. You said, can they just keep riding on this? This Genji will not work against the Atlanta Reign. It will not work against the Houston Outlaws. It will work against the Valient, a team that has limited flexibility, but the Genji is a very niche pick in this meta right now against teams that aren't willing to play the Winston.
Right. As soon as you go up against a good Winston team, I think Proper is going to have to answer for his crimes in this series. I mean, Genji does look super sick.
Yeah, and Genji is a solid hero in the right circumstances, and Proper putting on a masterclass of why. Just look at it, 24.5 eliminations per 10.
Over 20 minutes.
14.5 final blows per 10. But honestly, the thing that impresses me the most is the 2 deaths per 10. Yes, we see this number be quite low when people are playing Tracer, but it's hard to punish a Tracer. Genji, on the other hand, is quite difficult to stay alive. There's so many tools and weapons that people can use against you that you don't have answers for.
Yeah. I mean, no, like you said before too, no real surprise Proper gets at this series. He really did kind of take it into his own hands on Blizzard World. A 3-1 scoreline, maybe not what the Shock were looking for, but honestly a win's a win at this point as well.
Yeah.
Like, mid-season madness is coming up. Like, you got to get dubs where you can get them. And coming out of this one, you're going, okay, so maybe we just go on to the Genji and then kind of run it home from there. We're going to hand it over to the desk, though, so they can round out the rest of the day. Thank you so much for joining us on the cast.
Thank you, Costa. Thank you, Jaws. I love to see them both in the studio with us, especially when Genji's being picked and Costa just dies inside.
I saw
it in your face, a slow and painful death, and that did give me a little bit of joy. Valient, however, did struggle with it. Proper just decided to drag his team over the finish line. How did he get it done?
I think Custom makes a great point. A team like the Valient, they've shown really very limited willingness to bring out the Winston, which is really the natural predator of Genji, not respecting his deflect or his mobility. Winston doesn't really care about those things. It's super easy to catch and clean up a Genji. But since the Valient don't run that, Proper just eats them up on the Genji. I mean, to be fair, that was an incredible performance on Genji. We look at that low death count. Really, the nature of Genji as a hero is that your killing is your survivability. If you don't get the kill, you don't get the dash reset, and you don't live. But Proper, just time and time again, he did find the kill. So despite the fact that Valient were able to win this first map, Proper makes the adjustment, realizes they won't play Winston, punishes them with Genji. I mean, this is a textbook win from Proper, really well played. But again, for the Shock, we're waiting to see more from the other pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the first map we saw that Shock, they really struggled when it comes to the Ramatra composition. They decided to go with the Sombra and the Kiriko, but they couldn't really execute on those engagements. And so Valient, they're just able to sit tightly with Seeker in the backline, with CG on the Batiste, and just out-heal, out-poke the San Francisco Shock. But then another thing that I like seeing from the San Francisco Shock, he's sang on the Sombra. I think this could be a mainstay for this team. Proper, he can play the Genji here in this kind of duel, but also as the Shock move on, and you can't play the Genji anymore, like you just mentioned, Jake, maybe that allows you to put Proper on the Tracer as well. You can play Sombra Tracer. I think he did a good job scouting for the most part, especially on the final push map as well. He's picking out targets for his team, like, hey, can we engage onto this target, utilizing the EMP. It's not the best Sombra in the world, dare I say, but I really do think that it's a building block for the San Francisco Shock. And if I'm the Shock right now, we got a 3-3 record. We need to find a composition we can build upon, and I think Heesang Sombra could be that for the San Francisco Shock.
Any bright spots here on the Valiant?
I mean, there's one.
Seeker.
Yeah.
I want to highlight as well CJ on the Kiriko, especially. He looked really good. I think both supports actually looking pretty consistent for me. For me, the issue for Valient is really a comp gap here. It's like the fact that they won't play the Winston, Shock just punishes them super hard by playing Genji. But I think if Valient bridges the gap and they can kind of like fill in that Winston, maybe Tracer Sombra dive composition, I think it's time for this team to grow and develop. They look so great in their comfort zone. And yet, as soon as a team that's flexible forces them off of it, they fall apart. I think that's like clearly the Achilles heel of this team. Their strengths are great, but they've got to work on those weaknesses. That's the nature of the Overwatch League. You can't be a one-trick team and expect to actually beat even mid-tier teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one to abuse if you just know exactly what the weakness is from your opponent. Now, we are ready for our winners interview. So, Danny, please
Please?
Please.
Yes.
I'm begging you.
Please, I'm begging.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of please. All right. I will.
I'm just very excited about this interview.
Zoe, this is for you. I got Proper here for the
Yay!
post-match interview. Proper, congratulations on getting the win. Yes, hello. All right, so this match against the Valiant, you guys had a strong showing. So how did you guys prepare for this specific match? 자, 일단 인터뷰 쉬운 질문부터 가겠습니다. 오늘 발리언트 경기 3대1로 승리를 거두시면서 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데요. 오늘 이 경기 좀 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요?
일단은 저희가 이번에 좀 많은 연패를 좀 하게 되면서 저희끼리 얘기도 좀 많이 나누고 이제 뭐가 문제인지 좀 고쳐가면서 그런 잘못하는 것들 좀 보완하려고 많이 준비했던 것 같아요.
I think it was not specifically for the Valient match. You know, we were sort of on a losing streak, and because of that, there were, of course, a lot of problems within the San Francisco Shock. So we wanted to fix those problems. So we focused on communicating more, talking about what we could do better, and I think that really sort of helped us get the win against the Los Angeles Valiant. Now, another question is, of course, Proper, you were the rookie last season, but I mean, this season, you and Finn are the veterans coming into returning to the Shock. So I just want to know, has your role changed at all compared to last season when you were a rookie to now, where you're the veteran and that you have a lot of other rookies under you? 자, 두 번째 질문으로는 이제 작년에 프로퍼 선수가 루키 선수였죠. 새로 들어온 신인이셨지만은 이제 이번 시즌에서 핀 선수와 같이 어떻게 보면 베테랑으로 다시 센쇼로 돌아오셨는데요. 지금 베테랑으로 다시 돌아왔기 때문에 좀 더 작년과 비교를 해봤을 때 좀 역할이 좀 바뀐 게 있나요? 팀적으로 봤을 때?
일단은 저랑 핀 선수가 일단은 맏형이고 또 이제 다 어린애들 선수라 다 어려가지고 저희가 계속 멘탈적으로 애들도 케어해줘야 되는 부분이 좀 많이 있는 것 같아요. 작년에 비해.
Right. I mean, definitely because we are, not only are we the veterans, we are the sort of the oldest out of our players right now. All of the other rookies are very young, so I think we sort of wanted to, we have to focus a lot on caring for their mentals. You were talking about caring for their mentals, so because, I mean, you also mentioned that you guys were sort of on a losing streak and things weren't really good for the San Francisco Shock for the past couple matches. So in those kind of situations, as a veteran and as the oldest brother of the team, like what do you tell your younger players? 자, 방금 이제 뭐 멘탈 케어를 많이 해주신다고 얘기를 하셨는데 그거에 대해서 좀 질문을 좀 더 하고 싶습니다. 아무래도 센쇼기 솔직하게 말하면 지금 초반에 굉장히 좀 힘든 과정이었잖아요. 지금 경기도 좀 몇 번 지고 해서 이럴 때 이제 베테랑으로서 아니면 형으로서 이제 루키 이번 새로 들어온 신인 선수들, 센쇼기 있는 선수들에게 좀 어떤 말을 격려를 어떻게 좀 해주시나요?
일단은 그냥 저희끼리 하는 말은 무조건 경기 지든 이기든 그냥 즐겁게 가자. 저희끼리 그냥 분위기 좋게 가보자. 그냥 이런 느낌으로 하는 것 같아요.
I think it's pretty simple. You know, we always just say, you know, whether it's a win or a loss, just have a lot of fun. Try to have fun when you're playing a match, and I think that is what Proper is saying to the rookie players on the San Francisco Shock. All right, Proper, thank you so much for your time again. Big congratulations on the win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Proper. Oh, it was great to hear from Proper.
Shock fans everywhere should be thanking Proper for that last
In
match,
fact,
honestly.
that is true. You had something to say about this one?
Can I just say, like, I just love this addition to the Shock as well. They have a Korean fried chicken sponsor. Like,
I thought
how lucky are they?
I thought the
How
same
lucky
thing.
are
I was
they?
like,
Why don't
darn.
you send us something to try?
Oh, send us some Korean fried chicken.
Yeah.
I'd love some Korean
I
fried
chill
chicken
out
right
for
now.
that. Like, it's not a problem.
I love the San Francisco Shock.
I like fried chicken more.
Even more.
I love fried chicken more.
Go.
I do.
No, but this fantastic insight is, of course, that is an additional responsibility falling on Proper now as the older brother, having to also care for the mental health of the younger players, and that is not a small feat, especially if you're on a losing streak. That can really wreak havoc on those younger players who might not be as familiar with losing, especially when they're coming from a successful contender's career as well. Let's take a look at today's scores so we know exactly how we got to this point of the day and where we're currently standing as well, because we're still looking to find out which team will get that second spot in the overall standings. These are the results today, 3-1 all the way
Overwatch.
Yeah,
Oh no.
who hasn't heard of that?
Oh no.
Now we do see that the Houston Outlaws are up there again in
Their rightful
second, in their rightful place, according to sources. Jake.
According to my personal
but
opinion of strength.
it's not done and over yet. You know, the Mayhem and the Boston Uprising still have something to say about the final standings. We do still have a few more matches which need to be played, and the Valient, unfortunately, still no victory on the board, still there on the very, very bottom, which is, you know, when you're seeing great maps here and there, it is frustrating. It's definitely frustrating for those players as well. But alas, this is just a spring qualifier, so even if the teams don't make the mid-season madness tournament, it sucks, but like there is still a whole second half of the season, and if you know, kick things into gear at the right time, you still might make it to the finals. We've seen it before. Look at that, Washington Justice making like insane runs at the very, like how many years ago was that?
Yeah, but maybe not from 08. But yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I wasn't, you know, they went 0-8 here in the qualifiers, but it was a pretty joyous 0-8. It was not like a it was not like a Shanghai 2018, just like doomer 08. You're just like, oh my god, this is terrible.
That was joyous for the fans, though, because that was a meme.
That was terrible. That was
kind of funny.
That was just not.
They cried on stage.
As a player, it wasn't.
Okay,
Because you guys don't want to lose to the Shanghai Dragons.
There was a bad time, man. 0-37 Shanghai, we played them. It was like
Scariest
we didn't
thing.
even prep for the other team that week. It's like we can't lose
mean-
to this team.
Look, going back to the Valiant, they're 0-8. But like every time I see Seeker in the lineup, and like I like watching this 0-8 Valiant team. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm rooting for them.
If they get like a hit scan one trick meta where Seeker can just lock it in on a hit scan, Crowley can stay on a comfort hero tank, I could see things coming together for the Valiant squad.
He's a budget shy.
Shy.
Whoa.
That was him.
That was him. That's my person.
Come on, that's praise. That's praise.
That is praise, actually.
It could be better or worse. I mean, it could be worse. I mean,
Johnny.
May not sound like praise, actually was praise. Would have made my best of the day because kind of a banger quote there. However, I do want to hear it from you guys. What made your highlight reel today? Danny, starting with you.
I'm just reading the title of my best of the day, and our producer Nathan wrote it. He wrote Dragon Num Num, and that is what happened. It was Gargoyle, I think it was, eating the dragon from Sparker, and yeah, I think we're just taking a look at it. It's just happening.
Honestly, Violet was in trouble there. Violet was in trouble with that dragon.
He flushed
looked
it out.
just barely nom-nomming it there. So great awareness from Gargoyle. It's good to see him coming and having some success in the Outlaws, where it looked like, wow, they really want to play Fearless all the time. So I think having Gargoyle be successful when he does come in is really important for this team. Who knows what metas lie in store? You know, we could see a meta that requires them using Gargoyle a lot. Good to see him succeed.
Yeah.
But for my best of the day, I went with Seeker. We've talked a lot about him.
Budget shy. Let's go.
I'm not gonna make a two-faced comment like that. I think he's actually a really strong player. I think this is why so many players want to join Overwatch League teams, because even if your team looks weak, right? Valiant not doing that well, they're not looking like a good team. Seeker looks like a strong player. I think a lot of franchises have to be looking at Seeker as a player that, like, you might want to bring this guy on to like a stronger team. You might want to build around him or put him with strong pieces. You know, he's a player you'd be willing to invest in because he's having this great performance against Overwatch League teams, even while his team is struggling. So I think for Seeker, I like to see him performing well, especially against, you know, high caliber competition.
Yeah, I genuinely, as much as I joke, like I genuinely think Seeker could be on, you know, several of these Overwatch League teams we're seeing, because he was as impressive on Boston Uprising last year. So. Unfortunate 0-8, but he's a really talented player, Jake.
Yeah.
So there you go. For my best of the day, I'm also going with a very talented player. I'm going with the proper Genji that closed it out against the Valiant. And look, I just gotta say this, okay? Custo's not in the room anymore. I think Genji is probably the most entertaining hero to watch when there's a Genji.
Yeah.
I just love watching Genji.
A good Genji.
No, I mean, this is the nature of Genji.
No, watching terrible Genji is like, it's
hurts.
as hilarious.
I mean, the thing about Genji is it's such an overheat hero. It's so natural to just like assume you will hit every single shot and keep going. And like when we play it at home, it's like, yeah, we don't do that, and we just like dash into the enemy team and fail. But when Proper plays it, it's like, wow, he can just dash into the enemy team. There's no problems with that. It looks great.
He makes it look very easy.
Yeah, it is incredibly hard to do what he's doing in these clips. So
I love Genji. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I love Genji Manos.
As a Genji player, I'm in perfect agreement.
Well, you heard it here first. No, yeah, I don't know how to transition out of a Genji conversation, to be perfectly honest. I also didn't expect one to happen. But you know, there's just so much more to this desk than what you see or hear from us. He's just fighting that fly. Danny's hard at work, as you can tell. He's not just hard at work.
There's a fly. Where's the fly, Danny? Watch out!
He's not just hard at work on pest control here. No, he's also putting in work behind the scenes very often. You know, getting that inside scoop, getting all the information about our favorite players, and that, of course, draws the attention of some of our absolute favorites from the community. Angie had a good one here. She captured one of the. That's a real Danny moment. Angie and someone.
This is when you're rubbing the monitor, right, Danny?
I would definitely do that to someone.
That's why we had to have the player's remote to keep him safe from
from me.
This is for them.
Someone's a lovable guy. I mean, you got to give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a guy you want to see him succeed. You know, of all the players, like it's like some players, they're kind of villains, the heroes, villains. You know, it's an act. You know, they're all great players. They all dedicate a lot to the game. But someone is very, very genuine. I mean, you can just see that from everything he does as a player.
Great artwork. Love to see it, and
Someone
really
like
captured.
someone.
Yeah, really captured the spirit of someone and Danny.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
And if you're a special someone looking to meet Danny,
There you go. Yeah.
On the next segment. Next up, Danny wants to talk about how he's catching up with some of our favorite players, such as Mirror from the Washington Justice.
Yes, I actually, you know, a couple days ago I got to talk to Mirror, and I had some fun questions for him, and we talked about, you know, like making his own very own Overwatch League zombie apocalypse team.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Right.
So let's take a look.
Overwatch fans, the apocalypse is upon us. I'm here with the one and only Mirror of Washington Justice. Hi. And today he's going to be selecting his zombie apocalypse team of Overwatch League pros. So without further ado, Mirror, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's jump right in. Pick 3 and explain your reasonings.
First one, murdering. He can cook, and he's fast. So yeah, that's really helpful. So that we don't have to worry about him. So he can just survive by himself. I'll probably Kai. I need a confident guy, so that somebody he can handle with weapon. And I think Kai is the one that's suitable for it. You know, like his stone face killer guy. That's him. He's the one to fit the job. The last one's pretty hard. Muse. So just in case if something goes wrong, I can just leave him behind as a distraction.
Wait, stop. Wait, what? Wait, you're gonna leave him? You're gonna use Muse as bait?
But one of them have to. It's not me. It's not murdering. It's Muse.
Sure, man.
And he also really tall as well, so the zombie will take a while to eat him, which is fine.
To recap, Mirror's Overwatch League zombie apocalypse team consists of Birdring because he can cook and he's fast, Kai because you need a confident guy, and Muse who you plan to use as bait. If I have to guess, I would give you all 6 days.
I was being nice. I was gonna say a week, but then he's sacrificing one of his friends. So
you're not making it with that kind of attitude.
So I was like, I minus 1 day, so I said 6 days. I think that's valid.
Yeah, that's charitable, honestly. Those guys aren't making it 24 hours, let's be honest.
No, not with that attitude, they won't.
The average gamer is not making it 24 hours.
Probably not. I am on board with the sacrifice a guy, a big guy.
We were talking
about
in the
it
back
backstage.
room, yeah.
And unfortunately.
We could sacrifice anybody.
Anybody who's especially tall and potentially a little more
Take
slow
a long
and
time for the
takes,
zombies to eat.
Exactly. It could be anyone. I'm not specifically like anyone.
It might
who's
be a valid
tall.
strategy.
It'll take 3 days for the zombies to eat Johnny.
Also, you're in luck because he's gonna get himself eaten way before you.
Why?
Because you have that kind of energy. You have the kind of first victim energy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
first victim.
I'm the last one to die. I will live until I'll be the only survivor left. I'm like that type of person. I will sacrifice all of you guys.
Because you got lost in the woods. Like I think you will not even be aware that there is a zombie apocalypse. You're gonna come back to the city and go like, Oh, guys.
He's on his phone playing gacha games to the
Yeah,
end.
we're playing gacha. Like, what happened?
He's like,
gonna be
hold
so
on, I gotta get a pull.
I got a
The zombies
5-star,
right-
Oh man, yeah, that's
It's gonna be a zombie
that's
with
my
the
hot
phone
take
in
on
his
this one. Lots at stake here. Of course, there is zombie apocalypse, but also for our teams. So let's take a look at this schedule. We love schedules. That's right. And we have another one for you on
we
May
got a
26th.
big game coming up. You see that second one, guys?
Oh, I thought you meant the Outlaws and Mayhem.
That one too.
That one too.
That one too.
That'll be cool too.
Honestly, there's a bunch there though, which I'm actually excited about.
Yeah,
For different reasons though. Let's take a look at our East schedule as well to see what we can expect from the Eastern region knockouts. Again, they are in the knockout stages, and yes, we do have not just our teams in the mix, but we also do have contenders teams who are trying to vying for a spot in the mid-season madness
Is it
tournament.
crazy to call
O2 Blast
the
versus
favorites?
Shake
O2 Blast are the favorites, right? Am I
That's not crazy though.
I think that's
Soul Infernal beat
pretty
them.
straightforward.
Soul Infernal beat them.
Beat O2 Blast.
Yeah, but 3-2.
O2 Blast is like one of the top ranked contenders teams, and Dragons already lost like the 5th, 6th, so wouldn't.
Oh, versus them? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
O2 Blast.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry. In that
oh,
match.
yeah.
In that
yeah.
match.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
O2
yeah.
Blast versus
Sorry.
Dragon.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Goodbye.
Dragons. Oh,
Dragons.
Yeah.
pain.
Wrap it up.
But clearly, we're all over
That's
the
a
place
yikes
with
for
our
me, dog.
predictions
That is a yikes for
and
me, dog.
ideas on which teams are good and bad. But who are we? What do we know, honestly? You know
Not
who
much.
knows their stuff, though?
much.
Our crew, our entire staff. That's right, because each week a wonderful crew behind the scenes here are competing for the Overwatch League pick and belt. Up until literally 10 minutes ago, I didn't know that this exists, but in fact, we do have, I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know who made
It's
it.
a work of art.
It's actually some Sharpie action, but I live for this, and I'm deeply offended that I was not even told that this is a thing we're doing.
Oh, it
Apparently,
happened.
What? We've done it for weeks now.
No.
I
We did it
haven't.
one-
Anyway,
Yeah, I think it was just when you guys were
this,
here.
Yeah. No,
this
you guys
week's
were-
pick and belt will go to drumroll. No.
Yay! South Sky Noah, let's go!
Oh, your
Let's
wonderful
go.
stats.
So he clearly has the numbers on his side. He's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
he's number gaming.
The
it.
number
Smart.
game. That's how you
Smart.
solve.